I'm Brandon from Zade Comics, artist and writer on Magic Hop, which is out shipping right now off of Indiegogo. Just the two best looking brothers in all of comics. And today we are here at
world famous,
world's largest Galloping Ghost Arcade in Brookfield, Illinois. And Phil, I don't know how you felt. You're the one who told me about the news.
Yeah.
I don't know how you felt about it because I know you're a huge fan of the game.
Yeah.
I enjoy the game for its art style. Of course, we're talking about Dragon's Lair, and who's doing
It's an adaptation movie. They haven't announced if it's animated or not, but Netflix is coming out with a Dragon's Lair movie starring Ryan Reynolds. That's all we really know about it. So I thought we'd come into the arcade while no one is here. And we have it all to ourselves, so we're going to go talk about Dragon's Lair and, bring that video to you guys. Let's go see if we can find it.
And here it is, Dragon's Lair from 1983, originally released in arcades across the U.S. and was actually created by Don Bluth, legendary animator Don Bluth, who's worked with Disney. He's done his own production studio. He did All Dogs Go to Heaven, did Land Before Time, Anastasia. Awesome films, and this cabinet that we have here at the Galloping Ghost Arcade has like some custom nuances to it. Actually, Brandon and the owner Doc put these really cool like lanterns at the top and the sword coming out of the top. But this is one of my all-time favorite arcade games. When we got it here at the Galloping Ghost, I would play it non-stop. Actually learn to beat it on one credit without dying. It's a very difficult game, notorious for being difficult. So Dragon's Lair was a different game than a lot of the games that were out at the time. It was one of the most popular quick time games. You're basically reacting to what's on the screen, and as you see it, you have to move left, right, up, down, or use your action button, which is your sword button, to attack and do different actions. The way that the game played out, it was through actually a Laserdisc player, which became problematic later from moving these games. The Laserdisc would actually jog around in the machine, and you'd need to fix it. So it became a little annoying to have for a while. The Laserdisc would read basically the movie or the animation from the disc and display it on there, and every time you play this game, the way they made it different, since they only had a certain amount of animations, is they would take what they would call the screen, or like the little scenario, and flip it, mirror the image, so it would seem like there was more than the amount of scenarios there were in the game. But this game, compared to something like Dragon's Lair 2, where they didn't do that, it was very linear in Dragon's Lair 2. But I like Dragon's Lair 1 more because you had that randomness to it. It would select between 3 different animation scenes for your first run through, and then as you would get closer to the end of the game, then it would randomize it again. So every time you play would be a little bit different, unless you played like hundreds of times. So that's why the more you play this game, the better you get at it, because it's not really like other games where it's strictly reactionary. You can actually memorize the inputs the more and more you play the game. Now, this was, of course, back in the 80s, and all of the animation was hand animated, including the death scenarios, and you could, even in one scene, you could die multiple ways if you make the wrong choice, and basically making the right choice through every scenario to get to the end, to the actual dragon's lair, defeating the dragon. Now, if you do a full playthrough, I believe it takes, if I remember correctly, about a half hour to get through the game. And this was a prime moneymaker in the arcades back in the day. Kids would be failing and just pumping quarters in over and over again to try to save Daphne, the princess. Art in this game is top-notch. The character designs bring so much life to the whole world of Dragon's Lair. And a lot of that has to do with Don Bluth's art direction and the art style that he has. There's a lot of comedy in this game, as well as ways of tricking the player. There's actually scenarios where an item will flash and illuminate to get your attention. So you think you need to go in that direction, and when you do, you get zapped by electricity, you fall into a never-ending pit to your death. And those are ways of basically, as a game designer, taking the person's money that's playing the game. So, urging you to die in as many ways as possible so you could pump the next quarter into the machine. And that is genius, and that is what a lot of games did back in the day. But fortunately for places like the Galloping Ghost Arcade, you could play as much as your heart's content since everything's on free play there. So really into this game, I would just play and learn every input, and to the point where I've cleared the whole game on one credit. I've cleared the whole game without dying. Like right now, I'm very rusty. I haven't been practicing. I haven't actually played the game in a while, but it still holds up. Now, like I said before, there is a sequel, Dragon's Lair 2. It is more of a linear, progressive game where when you do die, you start all the way at the beginning. In Dragon's Lair 1, if you die, you go on to the next screen. And say you die twice and you beat the game, or you get to the end of the game, right before you enter the Dragon's Lair, you will have to go back to those screens that you died at, those rooms you died in, get past those, and then you can actually go into the Dragon's Lair. So it's a very unique experience where you have to clear everything, and you don't start right back at the first scenario when you die like you do in Dragon's Lair 2, or in the game that they made after that, which is called Space Ace. Now, as you can tell, Dragon's Lair is very near and dear to my heart, one of my all-time favorite arcade games, and it's crazy that it's gone this long without not having a big animated movie, either by Don Bluth or someone, buying the IP, but Netflix has just announced that they plan on coming out with a movie. It seems like they're in talks with some of the original creators of Dragon's Lair, and it seems that Ryan Reynolds is attached to the IP, which is cool. He's a great comedic actor. He fits, that heroic look, and I think he's going to be awesome as Dirk the Daring, the valiant knight in a search to rescue a fair princess. And that princess is where things may fall apart for this movie. But Princess Daphne is what will make or break this Netflix Dragon's Lair movie, because she's so iconic, she's so beloved by the hardcore fans. I could see it going poorly if it becomes too PC, and if it is something that they decide to make for kids, they're going to have to tone her down and there could be a lot of backlash for that. I think Dragon's Lair should have some wacky violence in it, and definitely the original iconic look of Daphne. But if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more arcade-involved videos, we can talk about the second Dragon's Lair or Space Ace. We have over 700 games currently, so there's a lot to talk about. Let us know in the comments below what you guys are interested in seeing from us. Like and subscribe, and do check out Magic Hop, which is in demand on Indiegogo right now, our graphic novel, and hit up that Lost Pages pre-launch page to get on our mailing list to learn about our next epic book. See you guys next time.